Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Chilling Neigh Podcast, your premier VGC podcast. My name is Rachel, aka Conkadonk VGC, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Tommy Hayden and Sableye VGC. What is up, guys?
So, fun story for you guys. A side spam player, a 2-2-2 player, and a balance player all walk into a bar. I don't have a punchline. I don't have a punchline.
We'll eventually...
we got to laugh that one out a little. Welcome on in, everyone. Hopefully everybody's doing well, though.
And I'm a Screens Annihilate player now this week. I'm claiming that as my identity now.
Oh, no.
Did I spam what?
Oh, man.
Did I spam who?
Well, in that spirit, we were gonna talk about how the meta has been slowing down and that has been affecting Tommy's sleep time. But first, let's start with Dortmund. So first, there was a regional that happened since we last talked. Congrats to Florian Temp for winning with pretty standard like Blood Moon Ursa stuff. Something that we kind of thought was dying down, and Florian came back and proved all of us wrong. So that is super cool to see. And then we've just been having a lot of Limitless tours as always, and we have a winner on our pod. Sableye, congrats for winning Tommy's tour last night.
2 winners on the pod.
2 winners, but mine was the slow one.
2 winners and 1 host walk into a podcast room.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of open this up. What do you guys? Let's take it wherever we want. But Tommy, I know that you were dying to talk about.
I want to start. Yeah, I want to start with the Tommy's tours have been getting bigger, and I was like, maybe that's why they're taking longer. And then I'm realizing, no, the rounds are taking longer because the meta's slowing down, and people are figuring out like how to slow down the hyper offense that is the Chiyu Flutters, that is the Torn Urshifu. Where's Urshifu Rapid Strike? Fraud. Like, there's so many different instant Amoongus mirrors that are taking forever. People are putting each other to sleep. The Tinglu Komo P2 team is taking wreaking havoc. Even when the Registeals were popular, they wouldn't take as long most of the time. I'm using Screens Annihilate now, and Screens is becoming more popular. You see less of that hyper-offensive, like, what I call punch-you-in-your-face Pokemon, and you're seeing more of the slow-down, like, and it's really cool to see the balanced Barrys having their time to shine. And I love this right before the GC. I want the meta to slow down before the GC. So, we could get into that later, but it's really cool in closed team sheets to try to farm balance teams like that. Like, if you know the standard balance teams are becoming popular at this time, it's really interesting to see where this goes. And, like, with this lack of events coming on right now, it's really also interesting to see how long do these slow down balance teams take shape and take over the meta. How long is this going to last? I don't know. I'm going to be up forever.
Hopefully forever. Hopefully, as a balance player, I'm loving it. I'm having a grand old time right now. I'm having a grand old time in the metagame right now. That's all I'm saying.
Even the Gouging Fire King Gambit core. That's a slow, drawn out, where it's like you set up before you get the KOs. And you used it very well, but it's like not the fastest archetype ever, you know? And then, again, the instant Amoongus mirror matches were taking forever. Like that, it was just instant Amoongus, damage mitigation, sleep turns, this, that, the other thing. It's really interesting to see, and I didn't realize when I started hosting tournaments how much I'd be able to track the meta like that. And it's just very interesting from my perspective. I was telling these guys before, and I wanted to go on that rant because ranting is part of the show. No, we're gonna do timestamps and try to get what's it called? Try to segment the show too. But let me kick it to you guys and stop the rant.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that.
I really want to talk about Gouging Fire, or in this case, Secondly Fire.
Yes.
In this case, Secondly Fire, because like it seems to keep getting second place at regionals. We had Luca get second place at Charlotte. We had James get second place at Knoxville. What?
Nick at Dortmund.
It was Nick Connolly got
Right, yeah, sorry. Lucas top 4 at Charlotte. That's right. My bad. My bad. I was hyping it up too much. Either way, second place at Knoxville, second place in Dortmund as well. I mean, regardless, is it ever gonna win a regional? Is the question.
I don't
I mean,
know.
it's interesting because it's like you said, like the meta's been slowing down and gouging fire's been a big part of that, where it's like, okay, it's gonna do that breaking swipe spam, right? Really reduce that damage. But also, and then obviously we have Incineroar is back, and I think everyone realized again how good Incineroar was, and like we had these regionals get the concentrate at the very start of the like format where
Mhm.
we had Portland right the first weekend, then 2 weeks later Charlotte, then 2 weeks later Knoxville, right? And like obviously we had Liverpool and Dortmund and stuff like that, right? And we didn't really have any breaks, and now that we have like this extended break, people are really starting to figure out, okay, like in the last few regionals, people started to figure out, and now we're really okay, like everyone like we've got to the point where we used to be a 2-2-2 player, a side stand player, and a balance player, and now we've got 3 balance players pretty much. Like
Yeah.
I'm playing like bulky offense. You know, we got Tommy out here playing screens annihilate, and then
Love
obviously
it.
Ryan doing things. So, um, has definitely slowed down, and I think like that's kind of what happens when we get later into a format and when people have that
Yes.
more time to just
Yep.
like slow down and like let me take a beat, let me think about like how to actually approach this versus like I need to build a quick team for the next regional, and like try to make a aggressive call like Blood Moon, like stuff like
Yep.
that, right?
Agreed.
So I think like we've gotten to that point now where people have that time, and I think we're gonna see that in like, Vancouver, at UIC and like the remaining reg Reg F,
Reg F.
yeah, Reg F regional. Yeah, so
I had
I
a lot of
I,
fun
I think
watching
it's here to
Dortmund
stay
too.
for a while.
Did you
What's
guys
that?
like watch Dortmund? Like I liked Dortmund as a viewer. Like the viewer experience. I thought the battles were good. Or
I was
am I
at a PC getting top 4 for no points. So no, I did not watch Dortmund.
dude, I
Sorry,
ended
man.
another
Sorry.
second
Not
place.
everyone can have the PC success that you have. That top four is no points. Uh, you know what? I'm rooting for you to get points. I'm rooting for you to get invite right away. But at the same time, we're still tied at points, and if I can, I'm trying to beat you to the invite. So we'll see. We'll see.
I didn't
Oh, we
realize
got
you
a
guys were
challenge.
tied.
He issued the challenge. He doesn't know I have an MSS this weekend.
So do I. So do I.
Uh-oh.
So we'll see. We'll
Uh-oh.
see. We'll
Wait,
see.
we gotta turn this into a friendly challenge. What's your point totals right now?
361.
Both at 361. Yep, 361.
So the race to 139.
29. No. 29. No. 39. 29. No. 39. Math.
Yeah, the race to 139.
Yep. So I mean,
That might be the
Ryan's
title of
got
this
regional
show.
before I do, but I have UIC, so hoping I can just
Get it there.
get a ton
Just
of
get
points
it
there.
there. That's fine. Yeah, you
Get
beat
it
me.
there.
You have
Just
EUIC.
get there, that'd be
You
great.
have EUIC. You're getting your invite before me.
I can get a couple MSSs here and there, and then get the UIC points.
Yeah,
I
you'll be
should
fine.
I should be good. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
You'll be good.
But
What's your MSS point totals?
I have 2 open slots
I
for
have
MSSs still.
I think I have 3 still.
Yeah.
So.
I whipped
But
on
I
all
like
4
also my
MSS.
schedule's like limited, so I'm only going to like 2 more MSSs in the near future, like
Yeah.
in the next few months. So
It's fine. We're
We'll
both
see.
on pace. I'm not too concerned, but it'll be fun
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
which one of us can get it first. But back on track
Mr.
right now.
UIC.
What I haven't even said what I wanted to say about this gouging fire team yet.
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No.
Go.
Long story short, the gouging fire team. We are starting to see, in my opinion, the 4 that are correct. That should always be there on this gouging fire variant, and that is Ogerpon Water, gouging fire, Fluttermane, King Gambit. In my opinion, those are the 4. We are seeing that. We've seen JoeUX9 success with Shenpao Amoonguss close it off. I've been using Shenpao Amoonguss to close it off as well. That is very strong. Obviously, Luca Triggett's been using Shenpao Rillaboom for a little bit. James has been using Lando Rillaboom, right? We are starting to see, though, that main core 4, and that's the core 4. That if you're saying, I am prepping for a gouging team, you are prepping for
That's
that core
real.
4. That is a Terra... Sorry, not a Terra. That is a Firewater Grass core and a Fairy Dragon Steel core in 4 Pokemon. I don't know what more you can ask for.
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy.
Right?
Oh.
That's actually what
I didn't even think
like
of
that dawned on me today, and I'm like, huh,
Yeah,
huh.
that's pretty.
Dude, I saw that in the comments of your YouTube video because I
Yeah.
was watching that on the train. I watched that on the train ride home today.
It,
Go shout out Ryan SaveLiveVGC on YouTube. Go watch his YouTube video about the Gouging Fire team. He'll go more in depth on what he just said here, which is really cool to see.
Absolutely.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
I'm really looking to see if somebody can figure out like the correct two to close it off, because everybody's just kind of bouncing back and forth like these two close it out better versus this stuff, but it's worse versus this stuff. So I wonder if there is a correct
There's
two,
no matchup glue.
or if
no
there's gonna have. The
universal.
thing is, I think there could be. I think it's breakable. I think
You
there
it's
is
like
a correct
Salazzle or
two.
something random. You're like, I need a fast fairy resist that could has fake out, or like something crazy random like that that could really.
There's gonna be
tie
some.
everything.
There is going to be something, and somebody is going to find it. Whether it is running Lando I with a different move, maybe having taunt over substitute, keeping substitute, right? Stuff like that, right? Like I don't know if it needs to be like a fundamental Pokemon change, as much as it just might need to be like a move here or a Terra type here sort of thing that just really eases some more matchups.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like we're in this interesting point too where like there was all this volatility earlier, like I was talking about, and now we're gonna see like I think from regional to regional or like major to major, we're gonna see like the meta calls and like the different teams that people bring are gonna be slight shifts from what we've seen versus like okay, we're going from Sky Spam like Iron Crown stuff to Blood Moon stuff to like it's kind of all over the place versus now I think we're seeing a lot of teams like how good has Edu's team been consistently over the last few weeks?
Incredible.
Like, right, everyone has been running that team. Like, Edu ran it right to great success, and a few other people I think in Europe, and then Toller wins with it, right? Like in a slight variation of it.
Yep.
And like it comes back in Dortmund, and still like it does super well. Like
Still does
so
well.
It's just like teams. And then the gouging fire stuff. How long have we been seeing that? Okay, like gouging fire became popular early, and like it stuck around. Like gouging fire hasn't gone anywhere. It's continued to do well. It's not something that like it's going away anytime soon. And so I think it's going to be like these now slight calls of like, hey, you know what? I think this comp is going to be a little bit more popular. Or like, hey, this like niche move is going to be really really good into like this stuff. So I think it's going to be like these slight calls we see. That's going to be like the meta development we see versus more like, man, like this gouging fire team just isn't in anymore, like into the meta. I don't think that we're gonna get to that point because it's just so versatile, so many tools. I think like we have a few comps where it's like, okay, the gouging fire stuff is really good. You know, the Torn ogre, like Torn water, like Rain Dance, Ogre Pond water stuff, like
That's really good.
That's super strong, right? I think like for the hyper offensive players, like something like the Kyle Livinghouse team, right? That's been like the go-to like hyper offense core, and then there's going to be pure people running, you know, your hard trick room, size spam stuff, your dozo stuff, whatever it is. But I think that stuff's, you know, obviously it's dying down, right? Like it's like when it's hard, once like balance really gets figured out, that kind of stuff becomes harder and harder to run, right? So I think we're getting to that point where we're finally starting to see. It's still, I think, Regulation F is still such a diverse meta in this terms of like. I think normally when we have a centralized meta, it's like there's like 10 mons that like each team has like 6 of, you know, like for like the like a large majority of the balanced teams that are doing well. I think we have a lot bigger pool of mons, but like we're starting to see, okay, here's like maybe 4 or 5 teams that are like the common types of teams, right? Like even Blood Moon teams, right? Like they're not going anywhere. Like they're there. Like the P2 Tinglu teams, people are still running them, and they're still good, right? Like if you could, it's starting to be the point of find your comfort and run something like that, and that just gives you tools into everything.
Yeah.
And as a team builder, this is where I like the meta to go though, because like, and it's like, oh, if I run comfort and tweak it to know my matchups into these 6 or 7 common archetypes, I could really take advantage of my matchups, and I could really do something like take advantage of a lot of the, you know, like, and that's how you get those good runs at tournaments with the meta call that you're comfortable with. That's not really a meta call because you're comfortable with it.
Everybody is a secret balance player because that's exactly what balance looks for, right? Balance looks to be reactive to what's going on in the meta. And Tommy just kind of said it perfectly, right? Now that we know what the meta is, what those 6 or 7 teams are, so to speak, balance can just go ahead and say, obviously you can do this with any variant, right? You can say, oh, hyper offense, I just need to kill this thing or do that, right? But with balance, it's more so that's the entire point of the team, is to say I'm going to have an answer into these teams, and I'm just going to simply outplay them with my tools, right? And just having that option now, knowing what those 6 or 7, maybe in this case 8, I think there's probably 8 maybe teams in this meta that you probably have to keep an eye on, right? And once you know that, if you can somehow find an answer that gives you lines into everything, or the most of them, or the moments that you're thinking, the teams that you think are coming out that regional or that event, probably in a pretty good spot.
Yep. Exactly. I'm curious on like in terms of like I feel like we always see like people test out a lot of their stuff in like the online tours and like on Showdown and stuff like that before you see it in regionals and stuff like that. I'm curious if you saw anything kind of wacky or something cool and innovative in the Tommy tour last night that was like, okay, that could be something that is like used more in the future or something like that.
Sub Ogrepon.
What's that?
Sub Ogrepon.
I did play a sub Ogrepon. That was kind of heat. I don't know how meta defining it is. It did top 8, yeah. Wait. I played it in top 8.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I was like, wait, substitute Terra Fire Ogrepon is like, because the team, yes, I'll send you guys a screenshot of the team. My friend Jerry, he's a regional winner too. He won Athens 2013, Athens 2015. I just sent it in the general in the podcast.
You can read out the 6 while you're there, Tommy, so the viewers can.
But King Gambit, Flutter Main, Specs Flutter, Glasses, Swords Dance, King Gambit, Choice Scarf, Urshifu Water, Safety Goggles, Terra Dragon, Incin, Assault Vest, Snarl, Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, Raging Bolt, and then substitute Terra Fire, Spiky Shield, Hornleech, Ivy Cudgel, Ogrepon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, whoa, okay. And I was talking to Jerry, and he was like, I love it. No, Sub Ogrepon is real, man. I'm telling you.
It was scary.
It's a year 2-time regional winner. I don't care it's 2013 and 15. You walk into a tournament, you win like that. It's impressive as hell to me. So a 2-time regional winner telling me that Sub Ogrepon is real right now, because the amount of damage and the amount of pressure you put on, I was oh, that's something I got to listen to. And then, again, top 8 in the tour. It was a 130-person tour. It wasn't like an easy tour to walk into in top 8.
Exactly.
That's why I was very impressed with Ryan winning, too.
But, like, you also, back on Sub Ogrepon here, not to get sidetracked, but it's one of those tools where you have it beside threatening pieces, right?
Yeah.
And beside those threatening pieces, it's tough to really bully down, right? We see Sub on Lando do really, really well because it's tough to bully down because, you're going to get the fake out pressure up. You're going to go fake out Sub or follow me Sub, right? In this case with the Ogrepon, though, it's if you're hitting the Ogrepon to stop it from getting a sub up because it's a very fast substitute, right? So if I have to double the Ogrepon to try and get rid of it, something else on that team is putting in immense amount of work that turn as I'm focusing down the Ogrepon that's behind the sub, and that's horrifying. And if I don't do that and I don't stop the sub, then I bully down the other thing, then there's an Ogrepon Hearthflame behind a substitute. What am I going to do? Right? So it was actually a very, very cool concept. So I'm curious if that goes anywhere. But a team that I've thought for a while, and I've tried to lab this out numerous times, I haven't been able to figure it out. But top 4, I actually got top 4 in the tour last night, Tommy, and that is Gouging Fire Glamora.
Dude, Glamora is a tough matchup for me.
And here's my thing. Why I think Gouging Fire Glamora works is because Gouging Fire loves making people want to switch off the field because of Breaking Swipe, right?
And then you get
and if I can get my Glamora on lead, get the Toxic Spikes up, bring in Gouging Fire, and then start Breaking Swiping, all of a sudden, and maybe at this point you drop Howl, and you drop Howl and you run Snarl. You have Breaking Swipe Snarl, and you just get the Toxic Spikes up, and you Breaking Swipe, you Snarl, and you say you're either going to stay on the field, do no damage, while I have just doing chip damage to you, maybe setting up with a piece that's a setup piece, right? If you want to cycle, you're going to get poisoned and then cycled back down. And if you don't want to cycle, you're just going to get cycled back down to Oblivion, and you're going to have to make that pick. So I'm curious to see if a team like that can actually function or hold up in the meta. I'd like to see that succeed. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think the current Gouging Fire builds are correct for it. But I think there is potentially something there.
Really cool, actually.
Right? Does it not sound fun?
That sounds super cool, actually. I'm intrigued, for sure. That sounds cool.
Can I ask you guys why Lando Eye and Fluttermane I feel like when I'm doing Terra types, it's impossible to cover for those two. Why haven't they done better in IRL tournaments and whatnot? Because they really do cover for a lot of different Terra types and options on most Pokemon.
You actually cannot cover both. Ground Fairy is perfect offensive synergy. You will always be able to. You will always be able to hit something for neutral or super effective.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
Why haven't they done better?
I think well, Fluttermane has done well. Like as a duo, I think they're both like do kind of. They fill kind of similar roles in that they're like a nuke special attacker that's fast and can be fairly frail. But they also like have different enough coverage and like good enough synergy where obviously they can work together. Yeah. Landoi's in a weird spot because like Ogerpon Water is the most common like one, and so it's like really good into Raging Bolt and stuff like that. But like obviously you're gonna get outsped and Ivy Cudgel.
I was gonna say
that way, but I can see
Ogerpon Water. Ogerpon Water was my big one there. It kind of just does a lot of damage to both of them. They can't really. If you double into it, you actually don't get the KO, and that's the one piece in the metagame because of that special defense boost. And since that's sitting at 66% usage, that is holding it back. But if you're looking at Dortmund, since we are supposed to be talking about Dortmund right now, not that it really matters, but top 8, Victor Medina, Flutter Landoi. Top 16, Casti, Flutter Landoi. So we're saying that maybe that duo hasn't really done crazy. There was another one, Richard Hod, top 16 as well, right? We're saying that maybe it just hasn't done that well. But it's been secretly doing well. It just hasn't been hitting that next level of the win yet. But it's been doing consistent. It's a good duo, right? But obviously there are some flaws with it, but it's a very good duo. There's nothing wrong with the duo.
I think I've been over-respecting it in team building recently, though, which is interesting.
Rightfully so, though, I think. Like, it's something that if you respect, it shouldn't be too difficult because you'll have answers to it as long as you're getting turns right. You should be fine. As with anything, as long as you have a matchup into it and you can bring your turn pieces on the field at the right times, you're gaming for the most part. So you do have to respect it because if you don't respect it and you don't have a matchup into it, you are getting cooked.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is a scary duo, but I think it's one of those ones it's a duo that naturally when prepping for Fluttermane, you end up prepping for Lando as well. So it's a lot less likely for you to not have a matchup into it, sort of thing. Does that make sense?
You want a special defense tank.
You want to have something with an assault vest, or you want to have something with a snarl or a special defense boost like the Ogerpon gets, right? So even by slapping just one of those on, right, all of a sudden you've prepped for both without even realizing you kind of prepped for both.
I think like that's the I think the crazy thing right now is that like the mon that's filling that role for everyone right now, not for everyone obviously, but like for a lot of teams right now, is AV Raging Bolt, which is like a pretty garbage matchup for like if you're facing down Fluttermane Landoi, you know? And so it's like, okay, but right now that's everyone's Snarl bot, their AV mon, but like because like we were saying, Ogerpon Water, really good into Landoi, Fluttermane, but really bad into Raging Bolt, like extremely bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so we see next to those Landoi Fluttermanes, like we see Raging Bolt on every single one of those teams because I don't know if you guys watched Wolf stream at all recent, like where he's streaming that Executor tournament, but like he was running Sun, with Magnet, like Raging Bolt with like I think it was Magnet Raging Bolt Terra Electric with Proto boost when done, and that thing was just one-shotting everything, and like he didn't care about any like end games with Ogerpon Water, obviously because you're in Sun and like you have Raging Bolt, so it's not taking damage. It's just like it's such a good, and he was talking about like how it's just such a good, like when you have that mon, you're gonna be able to get to a 1v1 situation with like 2/3 of teams that have Ogerpon Water and just win, and so it's like. It's interesting because you want that Ogerpon, or you want that Raging Bolt to be something that can be that your Snarl or whatever, and that AV Mon, but it's also kind of bad into those two Mons that like we were just talking about that can be like those huge nukes. Yeah. But any other like thoughts on like the meta and stuff before I kind of move on to the next thing?
I do have a question.
Yeah, let me look back.
I do have a question. real quick. It's not necessarily about Dortmund specifically, but it's about this composition. And does Landers Therian have a place right now? I'm curious on your thoughts. I'm genuinely curious on thoughts from you guys because obviously it's been nowhere. But if we're talking, and since we kind of talked about, we kind of brought it up with Fluttermane, Lando I, and we kind of talked about, oh, if you prep for one, you're prepping for both. All of a sudden, now you have the Intimidate beside your Fluttermane. You have the physical ground coverage beside Fluttermane. Is that a little bit more consistent of a duo if it's time for Lando Therian to come back into the metagame?
So we saw 5 total Lando Therians out of 137 players in the tour last night on the Tuesday tour.
Yeah.
And only 2 of them were paired with Fluttermane. And they had a combined 3-5 record. The ones without Fluttermane had a combined 8-5 record.
Huh.
So that's interesting to look at. I don't know, Dortmund, I don't see any Lando T's.
Yeah, I don't see one either.
Yeah,
Top 256.
Oh, wait, no,
Is it really not top 256?
There's 2 in top 256.
There is 2 in top 256.
That's not great, guys.
That is not great. No, but I'm just saying. I wonder because
I think it is a bit underplayed. It actually entered my builder recently, and I was testing out because I was looking, I was Torn Lando just seems fun to just Tailwind Earthquake, and it does so much damage to a lot of stuff right now, and Rillaboom's not the most common mod. It's a popular mod, but it's not every team has Grassy Terrain on it, right? You can still go for Stompings, whatever. But I think it has a place. I think where it struggles a little bit is that it is very easily Intimidate spam as well, and if you lock in, a lot of people want to run it with Scarf and stuff like that. I think there's a set that's out there that is being underutilized that I think people need to figure out, because I do think coverage wise, just typing wise, it obviously same typing as Lando I, has a lot of the same coverage, but you have that other Intimidate. I think double Intimidate is always something that can be super good too, so I think that has potential with Lando Instant. But again, with Ogerpon Water everywhere, that's one thing that it can be super useful with the Scarf and Terra Blast, but if you're not picking up that KO, if you get Intimidate spammed, you get Ivy Cudgel, stuff like that, it can be a little tricky. So I think, and if you're tearing, then now you're suddenly weak to Raging Bolt, that is something that you want your Lando I to be good at, or your Lando T to be good against. So I think it's a little bit of a tricky spot, but I think it is. I think there's something there. Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Instant Amoonguss combo that's just been everywhere? That just, I feel is balance. Is that the definition of balance being back when those two are just running rampant?
I wouldn't call it the definition of balance, because there's a few different ways to look at balance, right? From a bunch of different perspectives, you can look at it in different ways. But it is definitely a form of balance being back. Absolutely. You just see these 2 Pokemon, and it just buys you. You can buy yourself so many turns with just those 2 Pokemon. Cycle in, out, take some hits, regenerate health, Pollen Puff your instant, heal it back up. Pair that with some damage dealers, start whittling away at your opponent, and all of a sudden, if they don't have that recovery, 6 turns, 7 turns into the game, you're sitting there at 90% health on everything, and they're sitting there at 30% health on everything, and you still have a Flutter, and then you just have a Specs Fluttermane in the back, and then they're like, oh, I'm in danger, right? And it's one of those cores that right now I feel a lot of the veteran players are realizing how strong it is, because we've played with it before. And when we play someone who hasn't really gone up and doesn't have the experience versus Instant Amoonguss, right? You get into this trap where it's oh, I'll do a little bit of chip damage here, I'll start chipping away. And like I said before, you get into that end game and it's I've really done no damage. I'm 7 turns into the game. They've just cycled around on me and I'm absolutely cooked now, right? It's a little bit of a different playstyle approaching that mindset, because you have to find a way to blow up that core. Because that Instant Amoonguss on its own is incredibly, incredibly strong. If you just try to whittle away at it, it's not going to work. You need to find a way to break that core as soon as possible. Now, I'm not saying go crazy aggressive into it, but having an aggressive mode or having something that can potentially blow one of those two pieces up really takes away a lot of what that core wants to do, which is where I like Lando Eye, because you can substitute in front of the Amoonguss. Earth Power, of course, does over 50 to the Amoonguss, just kills the instant, let's be real, right? Like, it's finding a way to play around it in a way that's not just cycling around it, because you find other balance comps and other slower teams, especially the Gouging Fire stuff, really struggles with instant Amoonguss, because the Gouging Fire gets intimidated. You can't really do much to King Gambit unless they're opting for a safety goggles build, which I have seen some people adapt with.
I've seen some of that too.
Just gets spored. You don't care that you're giving it an intimidate, because you know you can fake it out, spore it, you can parting shot the Gouging Fire, right? Like, you can just sit there. If you are not capable of doing damage fast enough, it will overrun you. And it's wild to think about that two passive Pokemon and instant Amoonguss can just kind of cycle around on you like that, but it's very strong, and it is definitely balanced. But I think it's how you close the core, because if I have instant Amoonguss next to Fluttermane, Shenpao, TU Flutter, I think I said Fluttermane twice, but you get my point. If I put that next to...
If you have two Flutters,
Fluttermanes, I broke the format, guys. I broke the format. But what I'm saying is, if you put that next to 4 Hyper Offense Pokemon, that is a very aggressive, balanced core, if you want to call it that, right? But if you really slow it down all of a sudden, and you go instant Amoonguss, Raging Bolt, Fluttermane is still, you're going to need that offense somewhere, maybe an Ogerpon Water. All of a sudden, that is more traditional, that's more balanced, because I have options, I have switch-in pieces, right? And you want to have 1 or 2 switch-ins on a proper balanced team, kind of to everything, so that you can always have something on the field that resists, and maybe something that can switch into it, right? Obviously, that's an ideal world, right? So it really depends on how you close Instant Amoonguss, but Instant Amoonguss on its own, really, really strong core for balance. You just kind of need to pair it with the right partners, and it's definitely going to be strong. If that, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, totally agree. Like, instant Amoonguss are crazy good. I want to bring up another mon that I feel like whenever I go to go in the builder, I feel like I need to put this in, because it's just like, it feels so good into so many mons right now. And then every time I test it, I'm like, I feel like I'm just not figuring it out. It's like, but it was like Assault Vest Iron Hands is just so good in theory right now. Like, especially with like the Raging Bolt, with like just like Fluttermanes in general.
Yes.
Like, I feel like Lando Eye is obviously a tricky piece for it, and that's not something that's everywhere. But like Urshifu Darks, right? Like, Iron Hands eats it for lunch, right? Incineroar obviously don't like Intimidate, but like you're winning that 1v1 every single time, right? With
not next to an Amoonguss if you're asleep, though. You have to be a Terra Grass. It's very specific.
But like we saw Iron Hands.
Yeah, no, Iron Hands was fine next to Amoonguss before, right? So
yeah,
I agree with Conk.
I'm curious, like, what do you think is like holding it back?
Tommy, go for it, because I do have some ideas that I want to mention, but go for it.
So, dude, I'm so proud of myself for USPA this season, and I want to take a second to brag about, like, I went in and was like, I'm going to try to use a different team every week, and I've used a different team every week, and I'm 4-1. And it's really cool to see. And one of those weeks, I brought Iron Hands with a booster attack, and I was Terra Electric, and I got 7 KOs, and this was very recently. And it's really good if you think your opponent's gonna play something that we were talking about and not have a Lando Eye, not have one of those hard counters. And it's really in a weird spot, because I think like it's just getting outclassed by the Raging Bolt slot. Like, Raging Bolt is the electric type mon on the slot. Like, on a lot of the teams that would have had the Assault Vest Iron Hands, they pivoted to Assault Vest Raging Bolt. There's already a lot of physical damage going on, so adding another physical attacker in the Intimidate Heavy without a clear amulet, and then being weak to the Fluttermane if you don't have the Assault Vest, it's hard to cover for everything. You need to have the team built around the Iron Hands almost, which people aren't doing at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you have an Iron Hands quote-unquote team, who has an Iron Hands team? So that's where I think it really falters right now. That's what I've been seeing, and that's why. How many were in the Tuesday tour last night? That's usually my barometer, because I'm Tommy fucking Tuesday. Sorry to curse. 9. But so 9 of them, and it had a 46 win percentage.
Yeah.
It's not the best, not the worst. You know.
The way I look at it right now is before Iron Hands was that I can do everything Pokemon, you know, and we didn't have going into Regulation F. This is where we really started to get the Incineroars back, right? Like we didn't get these pieces back before. Raging Bolt, Incineroar, I think are the two key reasons why Iron Hands is kind of nowhere. Because what I want to do here is I have an Iron Hands, it feels like I'm trying to roll compress Raging Bolt and Instant into one slot, and I'm doing it very ineffectively because I lose Intimidate. Because like the moment I have an Iron Hands on the field, that's my fake out piece, right? That's my slow AV fake out piece, right? Then I no longer, I'm basically taking away my ability to have a Raging Bolt, and I'm basically saying if I add an Instant, I become very, very passive, right? So it is very difficult to justify in that slot, right? I'd rather just have an Instant, or I'd rather just have a Raging Bolt, right? Why not have both of them, right? Like it just feels like it's a little bit of a roll compression mod right now, but you're compressing the wrong rolls. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Like
I feel like you need 3 items. I feel like you need the safety goggles, you need the clear amulet, you need the assault vest.
Right.
And if you don't have, you don't have access, and it doesn't have an ability.
That's big too.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
like
huge,
you're
yeah.
sacrificing so much to try to use it right now. Before, it was one of the best ways to deal with things because we didn't have better tools. But now that there's better tools, we're kind of, I think, trying to force Iron Hands back in still feels just a little bit like I'm doing more work than I necessarily need to be. Now, granted, I don't think it's a bad Pokemon. This Pokemon was dominating regionals for a reason. It is a very good Pokemon. Before we get those comments in the comment section being like, Iron Hands is actually amazing still. But
I'm gonna comment Hariyama's better. If you comment that, I'll comment Hariyama's better.
But you know, it's one of those ones where it's not a bad Pokemon by any means, but there are just, in my opinion, better tools that fare better into the metagame. If I'm going to have a Pokemon that is going to be AV, weak to Fluttermane, why not have an option that's going to allow me to click priority into that and actually get 30% onto it, right? So if I get some chip damage, all of a sudden it's just dead, right? If I am going to click Fake Out, why not just have my Fake Out user also drop Intimidate? You know, it's one of those ones where I'm compressing the Instant Raging Bolt slot kind of into one, and it just doesn't feel like I'm gaining anything from having the roll compression. Like, just keep it separated.
If I'm gonna click a fighting move, why not have it be Urshifu?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of it's
feels
rolls.
like I feel like we used to try to model the Incineroar roll with 2 Mons in Arcanine and Iron Hands, and now we have that in one, and we have a whole extra Mon to use with Raging Bolt.
Exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
But that being said, it's good still.
I mean, we saw the clear amulet set. Like, obviously, we had Nick on, and he used it to get second in Charlotte, right? And it's been on a lot of the Blood Moon teams, so it's definitely something that I think like we've seen it shift to just an offensive piece for the most part.
It's not bad.
Close combat.
It's not a bad one.
Which is not bad.
You need
at
to
all,
pick up those KOs. You need to get the KOs when you're using it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the meta as it is right now, and we've come a long way from the start of Scarlet and Violet, but now I'm going to take us back a little bit. So we're going to be playing our favorite usage stats game, which I feel like we came up with a different name for it, but I forgot it. So that's on me. But we're going to be playing it with
stats game without a name.
No, not this again. No, we got a throwback. We got a throwback one this time. I'm excited. I'm excited for the throwback.
We got a throwback. So this is going to be Charlotte 2023, so a year ago. And it's gonna be day 1 usage stats. So this was back in Series 2. So before
Series
we even
2,
had
right?
regulations with letters, yeah, this
Reg
is Series
B.
2.
Cool.
So just as a reminder for everyone, Series 2 rule set was everything up to the regional decks plus the the Paradox Mons. So I will. So I don't remember who's
Let's all 3 play, right?
What?
Oh, one of us needs to look at the rules. I'll volunteer to look at the thing if you haven't already.
I have it pulled up. I have it pulled up.
You
So
have
it's
it pulled
between
up?
you two.
Perfect.
I am the remaining champion. If anybody was wondering, I did have the crown last time we played this game. So
Who's won the most weeks? Who's won the most weeks? Okay.
So this one I think is gonna be a little bit trickier, hopefully, than the other
Very.
one. So I'm gonna give it to Tommy as challenger.
Yep.
I'm gonna let him.
You guys keeping
Alright,
score at all?
as a reminder, we have 12 mons. It's gonna be it's 12 mons for day 1 usage, and you have to guess within the. You get 1 point for the mon and 1 point for guessing within, two points, 2 percentage points, and it is 2.0. So if it is 2.1 off, you do not get the point. And
It's gonna be tough.
if you miss out on the usage stat number, then your opponent gets a chance to steal. All right, so Tommy, kicking off to you to start.
Give me Fluttermane.
Yep.
The queen was number 1. You
And
have
give
a
me
usage stat for me.
55%. Give me 55%. I think that covers 53 to
Off
57.
to a hot start, 54.5%.
Oh,
That
no.
is 2 points for Tommy.
Can I
enough.
follow suit with this? I'm gonna go ahead and say, I honestly think that the meta was a little bit hyper offense back then. I am going to say Shenpao.
It wasn't legal. That's a wasted guess.
Fair enough.
Yeah, ruins weren't legal, so
No worries.
yeah,
I'll take
give
the
me that
L.
one back. Give me that
No, I'll take the L. No worries.
Yeah, no, that's a wasted guess.
That's a
in my
wasted
mind,
guess.
but-
That's fine. That's on me.
All right,
I
all
wrote
right,
Reg
all
B.
right.
That's on
Tommy,
me.
back to you. Tommy, back to you.
Give me Iron Hands.
Iron Hands was on the board.
Give me
What?
39%.
39% is incorrect. For the chance to get his first point,
Iron
Say what we
Hands,
got.
give me 51.
51. We were overshooting here. It is down at 32.5%.
What? Where on the list?
Number 4. So Floodmane number 1, Iron Hands number 4.
And you said 32?
That is 3 points.
32 and a half.
32.5.
All right, I will.
Ryan,
Right.
you gonna guess you?
Shut up, Tommy. I'm gonna go Iron Bundle.
Iron Bundle is on the board.
There we go. There we go. We're back, baby. All right, Iron Bundle on the board, and I am gonna go. I don't think Iron Bundle ever saw like top tier usage, so I'm gonna say around 29% for Iron Bundle.
99% is incorrect. Tommy, with a chance to get a big lead here.
Oh, I do. So Ryan has 2 points. I have 3. 24%.
24% is incorrect. And you were actually wrong. Iron Bundle was number 2 with 41.2.
Really?
So top tier usage.
You said
Tommy, you have
40
3
what?
points.
I have 3. Ryan has
41.2.
2.
I have 1 point.
So it was-
I only have 1 point, Tommy.
Yeah, it's
No,
3
you
to
got Iron
1.
Bundle.
Just
And
Iron
then he
Bundle.
gets
That's all I
something.
got.
Oh.
What percentage did you say?
3 to 1. 3 to 1.
What percentage was Bundle?
It was 41.2%.
And so we have the first, the second, the fourth. We don't have the third highest usage mod in Reg B.
This is wild.
How am I playing? I went
Alright,
to
Tommy.
every freaking Reg B regional I could. I missed Fort Wayne, which was Reg C. I went to every Reg B regional. I got points at a Reg B regional. My first ever points were with Grimmsnarl and Annihilate. I was playing these Pokemon. What was...
It's tough.
Give me Arcanine, regular Arcanine.
Arcanine is on the board.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 4 points for me. Give me 15%.
15% is incorrect. Ryan with a chance to steal.
Oh, was it lower than that? No, Arcanine would have been higher. It was one of the only valuable intimidators. I'm going to say 20%.
A little bit higher, 24.9%.
At what spot?
Number 5, I'm
That
guessing.
was the 6th slot.
6.
Arcat, you said
Oh, so we have
29%?
1, 2,
No,
1, 2,
24.9.
4, 6. 24.9.
24.9. Yep. All right, Ryan, back to you.
Oh, this is tough.
We have 4 to 1. Thumbs up right now.
I'm just trying to think if this was this Pokemon's, like, had it started making the appearance. I know it was in the meta, guys, before anybody yells at me. I know it was in the meta this time. I'm going to say Great Tusk.
Great Tusk is on the board.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Great Tusk
forgot
is
about that
indeed
one.
on the board. We're back, baby.
I used it at Knoxville.
How good was Great Tusk?
It was pretty
Let-
freaking good in my experience.
Was it better? Was it
Your
higher than Hands?
I'm trying to debate that right now too. I really don't know.
I'm gonna. There's no shot at the third most used mon, is it? I'm gonna bite. I'm gonna kick myself if I don't. I'm gonna say 35%.
34.5%. Great Tusk in the number 3, and Ryan is pulling it back. 4-3. Love it. So now you have 5 of the top 6 so far. We're just missing number 5.
This is getting
Alright,
ugly.
back to you.
This is tough.
This is so tough.
Give me Murkrow.
Murkrow is not on the board.
Yeah.
That was, I think, more
Okay.
Series 1. Alright, Ryan, back to you. With a chance to tie the game here.
Okay, it was day 1. I'm trying to like think of what I prepped for going into Vancouver. But like, it's tough. I'm gonna say, I think you might get lucky. I'm gonna try and throw a Torkoal onto the mix here.
Oracle is not on the board.
Okay,
Give me Goldengo.
that's a good guess.
Well, Dango is on the board. Tommy's at 5-3. What do we have for usage?
Sure. I think it's the 7th most used, which would put it below 24.9. Because I don't think it's the 5th, which would put it above 24.9 and below 32. So I either have to guess 22% or I have to guess 27%. Right?
Yeah, that's probably.
You know what? Give me 27. Give me 27.
27 is incorrect. Ryan with a chance to steal.
I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna go 22%.
Yeah.
22% was also too high. We were looking for 18.9%.
What slot was that?
The 8th slot. So
All
5
right,
to
Ryan, you're
3.
up.
Tommy's up. Back to Ryan.
Oh, this is tough. There's no shot, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Dondozo?
Dondozo
Didn't-
did not make
didn't
the,
think so.
the top 12.
I didn't think so. I genuinely do not remember Reg B.
Give me King Gambit.
If it, King Gambit is on the board. Tommy pulling it. Okay, I see you. So what do we
Again,
got
because I
for?
spent way too much money going to regionals last year and having the fucking time of my life. It was so much fun. Sorry about cursing. It was the best year traveling around the country playing Pokemon. Like, and I'm so happy I did that for myself. But yeah, no, I have this knowledge of Reg B now that I didn't realize was useful for anything, and it hasn't been useful for anything until right now.
This is the moment.
King Gambit, I'm gonna go 7th most used mon. I'm gonna guess 23%.
23% is incorrect.
I don't think
There was a
King
chance.
Gambit was that high. I'm actually gonna go lower. I'm gonna say 16%.
16.6%, and it was the 12th most
points.
used mon.
It snuck on
6
the board. Okay.
Ryan keeping within shooting distance here. You can tie it up now with this turn.
Oh, this is so tough. I'm trying to think of like what the Trick Room setter was. I'm gonna say Armarouge.
Armrouge is not on the board.
3 in a row. I'm struggling here.
Back to Tommy. We're getting in the we're getting in the real nitty gritty of it now.
This is tough, Conk. I don't like this.
So we're missing 9, 10,
I love
11.
it.
We're missing 7 and 5.
Yeah.
7, 5, 9,
Yeah.
10, 11.
Yep.
Correct. Yep.
Correct.
If you guys get back to back wrong guesses, I'll start to give hints.
We have Arcanine for fire type.
Yep.
What was the grass type? What was the grass type going around these times? Okay. I'm
Okay.
trying to think like that now. Was Amoonguss in the game yet? I don't think it was doing its thing. I don't remember now. It wasn't. Oh,
This is
was
tough.
it?
This is really tough.
It wasn't Glamora. It wasn't Chiyu. It wasn't Contozo. It wasn't Tatsugiri. It wasn't Armorage and Didi. It was Iron Hands. Palafin.
Alphin's on the board.
Good one. Good one.
Good pull. All right. What do we got for usage?
22%.
Incorrect.
I think in Palafin's quite a bit higher than that. I think it's actually the one in between Arc and Hands. I'm gonna say 27.
It wasn't at the height of its powers yet. 18.5%.
That's 10th.
And it was 10th place. So 7-4. Tommy's up.
So I basically need to kind of get something here. I got to get my way back into this game. In terms of grass types, see, there wasn't a lot of grass types going around though. Like, I'm genuinely trying to figure out what was happening because, like, and the thing is, I'm trying to. Huh? Yeah.
Who was a Tailwind setter? Was my thoughts.
Yeah, like. Conk's just sitting there looking. All the people playing at home are like, "Oh, this is so easy. These guys suck." But like, guys, you don't understand how difficult this actually is. Like on the spot like this, like
you try. You come up here and try.
This is
told these guys
tough.
like, maybe 5 minutes before the pod that we were playing this.
Yeah, like we didn't even get a chance.
I said I'll think of a Pokemon and ask me yes or no 20 questions.
And then I guessed it immediately, and it being Indeedee, so it was no. I'm gonna take a little bit of a curveball here. I don't know if this is right. I'm probably gonna get yelled at for this one. I'm gonna say Meowscarada.
Meowscarada's not on the board.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Amoonguss.
Tommy, back to you. Sorry, what was that?
Amoonguss.
Amoonguss is on the board.
What is in the meta in Reg B?
Yeah.
This is Reg B.
I don't remember being around in Reg B.
I was thinking the Arcanine, Palafin, Amoonguss. That's the core.
That was Reg C.
All right, what do we got for you?
So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing 5. We're missing 7. We're missing 9. We're missing 11. I think it's going to be number 5, which would put it at 27%.
27% is incorrect. Ryan with a chance to steal.
I still think it's going to be number 5, but I think it's going to be higher than 27. I'm going to go 30.
30 is correct. 29.3% usage, actually.
I was off by
right,
0.3.
0.3.
Oh no,
So,
Tommy.
nice.
What do we got? Score check? I have 8-5.
8-5.
8-5?
And we have 1, 2, 3 months
7,
left.
9, 11. So 6 total points left.
I'm trying to like think this one out, but this is tough. Like, I can't keep whiffing. If I keep whiffing, I'm gonna lose. Like,
yeah, keep whiffing, please.
I need to get back in this game right now.
It wasn't Tauros.
Toro. Okay, I'm trying to think of my Vancouver team. King Gambit. Corviknight, no shot.
I used Rotom Heat, no shot.
Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say Annihilate. I'm so good. Aren't I good at this game, guys? Aren't I good at this game?
I was using Grimmsnarl, Annihilate, Rotom Heat, Great Tusk, Murkrow, and I forget the last one.
If you get your Tommy, if you get the Mon and the usage here, you steal the win.
We need the 7th, the 9th, and the 11th.
This is tough.
Yep.
This is tough.
This is really tough.
Can you give us a hint after my guess?
You get it wrong. If you get one wrong too, then I'll give a hint. Yep.
What is happening?
If you could give a hint, if they're still relevant or typing. Both of those would be very good hints, I think. Right, Ryan? Or what hints should we ask for?
I think a type is fair. I think a type is valid to maybe try to spark some memory, because
I'm like looking at the plushies behind you, trying to ring my memory.
the plushies behind me. I do not have meta relevant Pokemon behind me, Tommy.
I'm like, what steel types? I see Empoleon. What steel types were running around then? It wasn't Iron Treads. Wasn't T-Tar. Was it? No, it wasn't T-Tar. It wasn't Garchomp.
No shot,
Nope,
right?
Not on the board. Nope. All right. Okay, so typing, I'll give you for one of them. Flying.
Murkrow.
Ryan. It's back to Ryan.
It's in that case, if it's gonna be a flying type, I'm gonna say Talonflame.
Talonflame is on the board.
That was a Tailwind setter I couldn't think of, and a fire type. Oh my god.
Okay. Now the question is where.
This is a big
I don't
point. This is a big
I
point.
don't think Conk would have given me the 7th slot or the 11th slot. I think Conk would have gone with the middle ground, given me the 9th slot here, meaning it's somewhere between 18.5 and 18.9. So I'm gonna say 18%.
18.8% usage is correct.
The 9th most used mon.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
8,
Now I
7.
need to type.
All right,
I need
two
to
months
type.
left.
We're back in it.
Wait, it was the 7th most used mon.
No, it's 9.
9.
Nine.
Yeah.
Nine.
So we need 7th and 11th.
Yeah,
All right.
7th
I
and
need a
11th.
typing. Give me a typing.
Do I give another hint? Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. All right. The other one. So another one.
Yeah,
is
I need
also a
typing.
flying type.
Oh,
Flying type.
That's brutal.
that's tough.
That's
That's
brutal.
tough.
It's not Salamence. It's not Roaring Moon.
That is tough.
Another flying
Definitely
type.
not Roaring Moon, considering it's not a flying type. That's
It
not
is in my mind.
That is tough. That a second flying type. I couldn't come up with one.
It's not Murkrow.
I couldn't come up
Dragonite?
with one.
Dragonite. No, Dragonite.
is
was
Dragonite.
It is Dragonite. Yeah, that's right. Dragonite's right. You're right.
All right, 9-7, and with this usage number, I think that puts it away.
If Tommy gets it, he wins. He's got to guess which one the Dragonite is, though. If he gets the usage, he
11.
wins.
We got this. We got the 7-11 split. One of the.
So it's either got to be the 11th most used mon at 17%.
If you get this
Or-
wrong, and Ryan gets the next 3 points, it's over.
Wait, the 7th most used mon has a big gap. I'm going 21%.
21% is incorrect. Ryan, this is
Okay.
a big.
That's tough. Okay, so Tommy split the middle on 21%. I don't think that's right. I think it might actually be lower. I am going to go ahead and say 17, because if I'm wrong with 17, it was obviously the 7th. And that leaves me open to getting if I can get the mon right, that leaves me open to winning the game. I'm going to say 17% on Dragonite.
17% was also incorrect. Tell me, it was 23.3%.
I was off by 0.3 again.
0.3 again. So it stays 9-7.
I
There's
need the
one
mon?
left,
Oh, no.
and then it's a tie. So I'll give you a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I guess.
I need the mon.
have a-
The thing is, I need to get it. I need to get the mon and the percentage. The percentage will be easy. I just need to get the mon because the percentage is guaranteed. So I literally just need to somehow come up with the Pokemon. Oh,
Is the typing going to give it away?
probably. I don't know though. It's so far back.
Bing, I think would probably give it away. Let me see. Let me think of a hint that wouldn't immediately give it away.
Oh, this is tough.
My hands are sweating.
I gotta get this somehow. I don't like this.
Okay, I have like maybe a vaguish hint that I think that could work.
I'll leave it up to Tommy. If you want to give it to me, it's up to Tommy.
Go for it. I mean, we got to end this. The game can't go on forever.
I'm trying to run through this. Like, I have ideas in my head, and I'm thinking like Indeedee or maybe a T-Tar, right? Like, I have these.
I thought T-Tar for a second too. That's why I said Garchomp.
I just don't know if they actually were enough. Were they around enough?
No, they weren't.
I feel like it would have had to be though. You know what? I'm sending T-Tar. T-Tar.
T-Tar is correct.
Let's go!
Can I guess Garchomp instead back then? So,
Oh,
my God.
T-Tar. I'm gonna guess
I mean-
17% because that's what's gonna fit
And
in
you tie
between
the
the two.
game.
16.7%. We have a tie game, so I'm gonna give you guys a tiebreaker question here, and it'll be. I know you guys will both have a shot at it. So whoever gets one of these first, and if you there's two. So there's two mons that made the top 12 in day 2 usage for Charlotte that weren't there in day 1. And whoever can get, so if Ryan or Tommy, I'll give you first shot at it, and if you get it right, and then Ryan fumbles the second one, you win. If you guys tie it, then we'll go to a double tiebreaker.
Okay, so
on the
hold on. How does this work?
So there's two mons, right, that I'm looking for that
Yes.
made the top 12 in day 2 that weren't there in day 1.
Mhm.
Tommy will get first shot at it. If he says the mon correctly, then you get a turn to a rebuttal. You have to guess the second mon. If Tommy doesn't get it, and you get a mon, then it's over. If no one gets on the first try, then it's pretty much goes back and forth again. First one to get it, and then rebuttal.
Okay. Tommy.
I'm
Okay,
going
I'll say-
Miascarada. I'm going Miascarada.
Miascarada, not it.
You know-
I want some rapid fire.
Okay, here's the thing. I think Spam was still around. Something had to happen. I'm going Armarouge.
Armarouge is on the board. Sableye takes it. That's clutch.
Let's
That is a clutch word.
go!
All right,
Here.
let's-
I quit.
for giggles.
I quit.
Any guess for what the second one was? Anyone?
I have a guess. Because I think
Go for
Murkrow.
my guess is basically going to be one I already guessed earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and say Dondozo.
It was Dondozo. It was Dondozo.
Yeah. The thing is, I knew Armarouge and Dondozo were around. I just didn't realize they weren't
Yeah.
around in the masses yet. They had a very good conversion rate, but I didn't realize they weren't that popular in day 1. But I guess they were popular in day 2. Gaming.
Yep. Wow. What a come from behind an overtime victory. We
Overtime
haven't had to
victory.
do
You
that.
know what?
That was-
They call me Mr. Clutch.
that was awesome.
They call me Mr. Clutch. Never again though. Going back in time, this was fun, but it was hell.
I see 3 Armirages. 4, 5, 6.
Tommy goes
It was
back and finds
18.8% usage. It was Armarouge
7.
was 10th, Dondozo was 12th.
8, 9.
Okay,
They were all
well-
at the 9-5 tables. All the Armirages went 9-5.
Dang. Well, congrats to our reigning champion, our still reigning champion, Sableye.
Spooky.
Well, we're getting to the
mad.
end here, but well, get unmad because I want you to talk about your Pokemon Day week
Yes.
before we
All right,
wrap
I'm
up
not
here.
mad anymore.
Pokemon Day Week. Tommy, what exactly is this weird named Pokemon Day Week? What's going on here?
So after the spooky tour, we did the Christmas tour, and the Christmas tour got way bigger than I ever anticipated. I'm so thankful for everyone that was able to make it what it was, for everyone that donated to the prize pool, that donated to Toys for Tots. We ended up giving away over $1,100 in prizing and donating $1,000 to Toys for Tots. Oh no, I think it was over $1,000 between everyone that donated. And I was like, oh my, that's insane, just for something like we didn't really like plan too well, or like I was just like, let's do this thing, let's have some fun, guys, and who could help me? And to have a 768 person tournament with that much in prizing was nuts
Yeah.
to see. And I was really impressed with everyone that helps me out with the tournaments. And I asked them, I said, what can we do? And they said, let's get more people involved, because Pokemon Day is my birthday. Tuesday is my 30th birthday, and I'm turning 30 on Pokemon Day. And since it was a Tuesday, I said I'm going to host a tour. How can I make it big? I can't make it bigger than the Christmas tour. Like the Christmas tour just was an anomaly. Like I think the holidays had a lot of people off too.
Yep.
It was really cool to see. So I reached out to other tournament organizers and shout out VGC Kingdom. Logan McSilent came up with the idea. They said, "What if we do a bunch of tours and have an invitational at the end of the week?" And I said, "Let's sleep on it. I'll get back to you guys." And I took the ball and ran with it. I was like, "I love this idea. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do this idea." And we have 17 tournaments planned for
I will
Friday the 23rd.
I will put the schedule down below for you guys. So just to save some
Perfect.
effort, because no one's gonna remember it off you reading them, but you can mention some of the organizers for sure.
We have Nino Poke Bros, who's hosting the Invitational. We have the return of the Beanie Brawl. We have the Himmy Turner. We have Talon Master Jay, who's one of my favorite judges, like on my staff too. We have the Wide League. We have the Hatterene series. We have the Spear Pillar. We have Lily of the Valley. We have Zem Tenor. We have Hoenn State. We have VGC Kingdom. We have Pocoyo's Sweaty Saturdays in Korea. We're doing 17 tournaments over 3 continents. Because we have a couple European tours, a bunch of American tours, Asian time zone tour in Korea. We like it's insane to see all these tournament organizers. I can't thank them enough. Shout out Professor Kai too. We got them. Did I forget anyone? Probably, but like sorry. Hoenn State, if I didn't shout them out yet too. We got the Lumberry Beatdown. We got just it's really incredible to see how this all came together. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna encourage everyone to donate to the charity by sponsoring your friends. And I think this was a really cool idea that came out of the group chat too. So for every round that Master Mark, Moxie Boosted, Neil, Judy, Jacob Scraw, Chuppa, Conkeldonk, Sableye, Almost Good Enough Gaming Noah, Katori, any of those people, and Pengy. Pengy's on my list too. I got to reach out to Necra. I haven't done that too. I want to see if Necra's down for this too. And every round they win, I'm going to donate $1 to the American Heart Association. And do that. I encourage you to pick a friend and sponsor them this week and say every round you win in any of these tournaments, I'm going to donate $1 for. If you have the means to donate, of course. And it's just like a fun way to be involved. And it's not going to be a huge donation if they join a couple tours and you have to donate like 15 to 20 bucks.
No. I'm just gonna win them all 10-0, and I'm gonna break Tommy's bank.
Yeah, break my bank. It'd be great for a great cause, so I wouldn't even mind. But like I'm really heartwarmed to see how it came together so far. And I can't thank the community enough, again, because I love these Tuesday tours. Like, to see them grow to over 100 people consistently every week is crazy. Like, to see the meta slowing down because of it is crazy. And we're doing $600 in prizing in the Invitational for the Nino Tour. So it's just like a cool way to give back, a fun way. Enter the tours. The 1 a.m. tour in Korea time zone is probably going to be one of the easiest to get the top 8 in. So if anyone's looking at that one, let's try to fill up all the tours.
You know what, Tommy? You say that, but if the Korean players actually show up to that tournament, that is not going to be an easy tournament.
And then I'm hosting, I'm co-managing the NPAA with Setsuku and Aldrich Yan. So they're helping run that tour too.
Always fun to get some more draft leagues in. I think team draft league experiences are some of the best, especially if you're just like trying to get into the game. So seeing like you have the NPA and now you have the other one as well for those that maybe didn't get into the NPA. Just getting team league experience. It's a great way to make friends, great way to get experience as well. I strongly support the NPAA.
But they have such good connections in Asia that there probably are going to be good players in that tournament because of their connections, and they're the ones helping run it.
Absolutely.
So it's like, yeah.
For sure.
It's really cool to see how this came together, and thank you for letting me talk about it. And I can't thank everyone enough. If you plan on joining, if you donate to the American Heart Association, support any of the tournament organizers, do anything to support, I can't thank you enough. And every sub this month, every gifted sub this month, I'm also donating $1 for too. So I got to go back and check how many subs and gifted subs I've got on my Twitch channel. But I figured that'd be a good thing for birthday month too. And yeah, no, I really appreciate you guys, like everyone who's listening to this. And has, again, joined the tours and made the community what it is for me. It's really been special. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Please, everyone, play in the tours and donate if you have the means to. It's a great cause and an awesome thing that all these tournament organizers are putting together. So super cool to see that. Well,
and
before we wrap up,
if you don't have the means, don't worry about it. Just like sign up, register, try to play one. Time is valuable too. You know, if you can't play any of them, just tweet about it, share it with your friends, support that way. You don't have to donate to support. There's other ways to support, and I want to make that very clear too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, before we wrap up, we have a Pokemon Presents next week. I want to get quick hitter. What do you think is going to happen? Any predictions? Anyone want to start?
Mine's more of a.
Black Gold.
Go ahead, Tommy. I'll jump in after.
Black Gold. Black Gold. Black Gold. I never played Black and White, so I don't know. I stopped playing after Ruby Sapphire. I played Fire Green, and then I never played Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6. I played, what was Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire?
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was Gen 6. That was after Kalos.
It was Gen 6?
Yeah.
So that's when I picked it back up. So I guess, and then I just played casually. So, like, there's a lot of, I never played the Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I want a remake of those games selfishly so I could go back and play. I loved Gold, Silver, Crystal. I loved Gold and Silver specifically are the ones I had. So getting back to Johto is something I really would want to do because I never played Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Experience Black and White for the first time. It's something I'm excited about. You know, if they make a remake of those games. I don't want it Let's Go Johto. I don't want Let's Go. Is that horrible to admit? Let's Go sucked.
Yeah.
I hated it. I hated Let's Go. I thought like
what, Tommy, what do you mean? You don't want to click zippity zap 17 times? No, but in all seriousness, no. For what it was, Let's Go was not a terrible game, but I didn't love it as much. Like I played through it the first time. It was fun.
It was meant for kids. It wasn't meant for a 30-year-old man. And I guess none of these Pokemon games really are meant for 30-year-old men. But at the end of the day, it's like I was like, this is
not meant for VGC either, right? And that's like a big thing about like I want to play.
Yeah.
Too, you know?
For me, I
felt like the competitive scene sucked on there.
I'm gonna let my inner child out on this one though for my prediction here. And what I really want to see is I want to see a new mystery dungeon, and I'm not talking like a new mystery dungeon like the ones they've made in the past. Like I miss the mystery dungeon. Like to me, the best mystery dungeon was the Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky. Those three right there. Sky was probably the encompassment of both, right? But the game like that, there was so many options. It felt like it was like there was so many different ways that game shaped up in different areas and different ways to explore that end game. Even after you technically beat the main game, that mystery dungeon game just felt like it lived on, right? Like if I hear mystery dungeon, that's the game I remember, right? Like I want either maybe, I don't know if I want a remastered version of that or maybe some sort of new Pokemon mystery dungeon that can kind of rival that. Like I want a really good, really hyped up version of Mystery Dungeon. That's what I want.
That's the one where you wake up as a Pokemon and it's you and one of the Pokemon walking around, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That game is so heat. Mystery Dungeon is one of the best games in the series. Or in the franchise, I should say.
I think I played maybe once on my brother's
Tommy,
DS.
I'm telling you right now, if you have not played Explorers of Sky, find a way to play Explorers of Sky and play it on stream. It'll be great. You'll have a blast. You'll also probably cry at the end, but that's besides the point.
Really?
The storyline in Explorers of Sky is one of the best Pokemon-based storylines I have ever played.
It's a really good game. I definitely recommend. But I'm gonna say something. So I think I haven't really followed too much in the past of like previous gens of like when they announce certain things. So my guess is we're probably gonna get more like off. Like not a main storyline game or something announcement, but like something like maybe not Mystery Dungeon, but like something like that, where it's just kind of like a side game. But what I'm hoping for is a teaser for the next gen or a next game, and I think I saw someone tweet this and I thought it was really funny. I thought it was gonna be black and white and to be art style, and I would not want that. Like I don't want a remake of like BDSP. Like I want more like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, where it was awesome, and like that's like. But it's like a remake of a game with like Terra mechanic or whatever it is, like introducing like the mechanic of this gen into the like remake of the next game or something like that. So I think that'd be something that I'd be super excited about, but I don't know if we'll see something like that.
Okay, actually, plot twist. What if, do you guys think there's any world in which instead of announcing a remake or a new gen, they bring Gen 5 back as a DLC? Like, or parts of Gen 5 back as a DLC to Scarlet Violet.
That would be crazy.
I don't think they ever will, but that would be something to consider.
I think, like, it's too good to, like, to pass up us just having a whole new game. for us to
Absolutely.
play,
They're
you know?
never going to do it,
Yeah.
but it would be very fun.
Yeah. I would be excited to play Black and White, like a new like remake of it, because then Kinkeldur's like immediately in the game, and then I can play with that for the first regulation, and I'd be happy. So that's what I'm hoping for selfishly.
Wait, how did they move? Did they move competitive to Ruby Sapphire from X and Y?
Yes, we played competitive
yeah.
on Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Yes.
So is there a chance that happens again?
Yes.
What? Wait, whoa! That changes everything then.
Yeah. So
There is a
That's what I'm hoping
legitimate
for,
chance that we could go one restricted format into a double restricted format into that, taking us to about December, into the potential, if there is a new game or those remakes coming out, that being shifted to the new format in January. And we could be playing on potential Black and White, updated Black and White remakes, if that's something they choose to do, if that's something they choose to put out. We could be doing that.
I didn't realize that was an option.
No, that is an
but
option, yes.
That makes the most sense why these games are shit and rushed, because they've been putting all their time and focus into that one, I hope.
I hope. Rusty
we'll see,
bottle
we'll
cap.
see.
Rusty bottle cap.
well, that's our cue. That's our cue to wrap up. So thank you everyone for listening to us ramble as always.
Especially
for an
especially
hour,
into dead
for
period.
ranting on.
Ranting's part of the show.
That's gonna be like our new show slogan, isn't it, Tommy? Just because. But no, honestly, guys, even in this down period, right? Like, there's not a lot of hype going on around Pokemon right now, but all the support has absolutely been incredible on the pod. It's been wild to see. So thank you everybody that has been listening, especially if you made it this far. If you somehow put up with us for this long in the episode, it's wild. We appreciate it. We really truly do.
And we love you.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Can't say that enough.
really appreciate all the support. Well, thank you everyone for listening as always, and we will catch you again in 2 weeks. Bye
See ya.
everyone.
Love you.